Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate and another edition of AEW Dynamite Out of 10. Big episode of AEW Dynamite, so we're getting closer and closer to All Out, which is actually only a few weeks away now. We've got a lot of build up to that on this show, as well as much more. But we started things up with the card rundown, but that was soon interrupted by Gabe Kidd, who called out Darby Allin. The Daredevil then ran in to start the brawl. When Allin had the advantage, Yuta, Mox and Claudio and Shafir arrived in full. Hook appeared quickly, followed by the Ops. Even Willow Nightingale appeared to clear the ringside area alongside the Death Riders. Kidd and Allin continued to brawl backstage, and the Daredevil chloroformed the War God, trapped him in a body bag, tied his truck to the truck and drove him off. A wild start tonight, sealing the return of the chaos of the Death Riders. Allin had stepped up the over-greatness vessel, and it's fun to see how Kidd matched it. If kidnapping Yuta wasn't enough, perhaps taking Kidd will change the tune of Mox ahead of the match at All Out. This match will need a brutal stipulation to live up to what we've seen so far. A casket match should make sense, and the segment also teased Hook and the Ops as well. A fantastic backstage promo where Joe clearly told that he still cared about Hook, will have it back when he needs as well. So yeah, that's good. But we moved on to our first match, which was Mercedes Moné against Alex Windsor for the TBS title. Windsor had her on the ropes, but the CEO again found a way to escape, rolling into a tight pin for the fray. Despite the CEO mocking Tony afterwards, the challenger tried to show her respect. When Moné threw out the middle finger in response, Windsor retaliated. The two brawl leading to Moné trapping Windsor in a statement maker. Riho made a surprise return, then descended champion packing and stared at her TBS title. A great bout, sealing Windsor better than anything in AEW so far, and manoeuvred the CEO throughout, focused on her needs. The physicality and athleticism paired flawlessly, and yeah, it really set a good flow. The aftermath was a little sloppy, especially in comparison to the great in-ring action, but the end was great with Riho standing tall. Moné v Riho is a great match, and I'm looking forward to seeing that All Out. So yeah, this gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Next up, it was Mark Briscoe who demanded Don Callis reveal he would fight for the family to earn a shot at the TNT title, and he announced that Briscoe would face Takeshita on Collision, but Chicken didn't want to wait. Lance Archer accepted the challenge. Briscoe found a tough challenge in Archer, needing a sunset powerbomb and a froggy blow to seal the win. This was solid veteran action between two of AEW's more reliable workers. Though the result was never in question, there could have been a quicker match to sell the threat Briscoe poses. The family became so big a group as multiple rivalries. Briscoe stepping up to Fletcher is smart business, as the two have proved their chemistry. However, Briscoe still has unfinished business for MJF, which is likely going to tie into it. Briscoe v Takeshi will be a great match and far more dramatic than his story outing against Archer. So yeah, Takeshi's coming off a huge G1 and he should remain untouchable. So yeah, be intriguing to see how it goes. 6 out of 10. But moving on into Brodido versus the Death Riders for the tag titles. And yeah, as they rolled over Yuta and Castagnoli, Mox interfered, tried to get involved and steal the win. Darby, though, arrived to attack Mox, setting the stage for Bandido to hit Yuta with a 21 plex for the victory in the first title retention. Unsurprisingly, this was great, though. It was wrestled more convincingly than previous Brodido matches. The Death Riders kept the action contained and in the ring until the final stretch. The interference was overbearing, but it didn't matter too much since Brodido won. It would have been frustrating if the Death Riders emerged victorious. Bandido and King had so much potential, and this was a nice defence to solidify their run and see who in the future steps up. 7 out of 10. Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler then attacked Copeland Jr.'s entrance. Christian Cage made a save and a brawl broke out. Vicious locker room stars came out to break up the fight. When Copeland and Cage had backed down, Adam Priest and Harwood threw a few more punches at each other. Sometimes less is more, but this segment delivered what it needed to in the time it had. The two teams solved why they can barely be contained at All Out. FTR showed a killer instinct, never backing down to the veterans, and Priest even got a solid showcase, which was an interesting spot for an unsigned talent. AEW has regularly used him, so yeah, it could set up an interesting match down the line. Before we moved on to our main event, Hangman, Omega and Jack Speed versus the Bucks and the family. Fletcher and Alexander worked well with the Bucks, simply working too well together for a team still figuring out. The Bucks took out Paige, Omega and Speedball outside, then an indie taker with Alexander and Brainbuster from Fletcher for the win. The Don Callis family arrived in force to lay out the faces. The Protest Star planted the Cowboy with Brainbuster through a table on the outside. Callis laughed as he stood with his family. Paige and Omega were on the same team but were the biggest star of the match, but everyone played a key role in this match. In particular, Speedball looked phenomenal throughout in his spots, keeping the action rolling. He had the longest in-ring roll of anyone on the babyface team, protecting Omega and Page for big spots. The Elite were well timed throughout as well with their teasers, picking up the match from a frenetic pace. While Alexander had teased what was going after Omega with intensity, but Fletcher was the cleanest, strongest star partner in this one. This continued post-match as the Protest Star was the strongest aggressor of anyone in the family to hurt Hangman Omega, while Fletcher's the champ, who's positioned here as the next man up for the Cowboy. Meanwhile, Omega has his next rival when he returns too. So yeah, this worked really well and gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Meanwhile, AEW Dynamite gets an 8 out of 10 from me. This was an all-killer, no-filler Dynamite with non-stop action, delivering multiple great TV matches while keeping promos short and focused. Everything had a purpose, building towards the future. It was just a very, very decent show on the whole. I think AEW, since Forbidden Door, has really picked up the TV output. So yeah, good stuff. 8 out of 10. For this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.